So this video is something I'm really excited about. This is all about how I take care of myself on my period. To incorporate this wise woman energy into my life and to live in harmony with my flow. Since our body is going through so much physically, we are inclined to eat more because we're burning the most calories during our period. Yes, even if we're not moving, which is actually something that we shouldn't be doing a lot of, like restorative or no movement at all is really recommended. Our body's going through so much physically, we're burning a lot of calories, and that's why we might feel called to eat more, especially, carbs and starches. Those are really gonna help provide our body the energy it needs to sustain itself during this detoxing process that happens naturally for us. Super important for so many reasons. One, societally, I feel like there is, sort of this stigma around the period that is dirty, that is something to be avoided, that is nasty, whatever have you. And, people just don't understand, whether they have a womb and they have a period or not. I feel like there's just general misinformation. So I just feel called to share what I've learned with you. And I think that leads to my second point. So you guys know that I'm all about inner child work, and as I'm reparenting myself, which is a lifelong process, something that I feel so called to teach my inner child is all about the menstrual cycle. So the menstrual cycle is usually around 28 days. It can be a little more or a little less. And the period is just one part of the menstrual cycle. So there are 4 phases. The period is one. This isn't something that I grew up with. So now that I'm older and I'm reclaiming my sovereignty and really being an authentic, free, wild woman, I feel like, part of that was to re-educate myself on what's going on in my body and to hold space for it and to show it love, because it is such a magical process. Those of us with wombs, whether we identify as women or not, we go through a fucking magical process every month of, releasing, of planting seeds, of building, of all of these things. And each phase of our menstrual cycle is there to support us through different types of action, different types of movement, different types of eating. I'm actually going to be doing a masterclass in about a week, all about how you can live in harmony with your flow. So we're going to go deeper into the 4 phases, which I feel so excited about, so called to share. And the third reason I wanted to make this video is because if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I have been doing a healing program with some really powerful women over the past few months, helping them understand their unique menstrual cycle. And you know, while every menstrual cycle is different and completely personal to the person who's experiencing it, I also realized that, you know, these conversations being had, you know, in a public space, whether it's online or in person, are so healing, because then we can really relate to each other and find ways to, you know, connect and see, you know, wow, that's really similar to what I experienced. Maybe I'm not so alone. So I just feel called to foster community and really broaden the circles that, you know, I hold, the ceremonies that I hold for mostly women, although, you know, it's open to anyone of any gender, to understand the menstrual cycle and, you know, what it's here to teach us. So, hi. So, I'm at the park now with Catalina. I feel just so in my body and moving really slowly. This is the first ceremony, menstrual ceremony. That's something I've been calling it to myself, and now I want to say it out loud, of 2021. And I just want to dedicate it to cleansing, really cleansing, and doing as little work as I need to while honoring my body. Yeah, so that is the goal, that is the intention. And after waking up really early, I just did this womb meditation that my friend Alicia, it's like a womb and a heart, and it's so good. And I felt like I almost fell asleep because I was just so inside myself, and that was really nice. Yeah. And I'm actually going to be interviewing her very soon on this channel, so you will see that, you'll hear from her, because she has so much wisdom to teach. She teaches about the menstrual cycle from an indigenous lens, and yeah, she has some Taino ancestry, and I just feel like she's a soul sister that's really about the earth too. She's an earth guardian, and meeting her, being in community with her, being her soul sister, has helped me reconnect to my womb on such a deep level. She's helped me in my reparenting, because when I was thinking about, you know, the type of mother I want to be to myself, I'm like, I want to teach myself about my womb, about my body, to be loving to all parts of me. So I dedicated myself to figuring out what's going on in my body and how I can honor that. So yeah, I'm so excited. I feel like today just really sparked something in me when I woke up. And then I was like, I have to share this, because this is something that many of us, we weren't taught, yet it's so important to know. It's so important to know. Okay, I'm gonna go enjoy the park now. Peace. The period is the first phase of the menstrual cycle, and this phase is all about detoxing and releasing. It is literally like a ceremony of cleansing. So physically, you know, over the entire month up until the period, our body is, you know, growing an egg. Our uterine lining is thickening. We have mucus and cervical fluid, all of that stuff, basically working together to create the space for a potential baby in the womb. Yet when that doesn't happen, the body's like, okay, I need to let it go. So that is why we have a period. It's shedding. Energetically and spiritually, it's sort of similar. We go through the month doing all these things, building relationships, building projects, building habits, maybe even businesses. And during the time of our period, this is really a sacred opportunity to go inward and look at, what we've been doing that month that doesn't serve us and how we can release it. So energetically and spiritually, sometimes the period feels like a time of deep grief because, this is the space to just look at everything as it is and let go. And even if we're letting go of things that we know don't serve us, it can feel like a grieving process. It can be super, super emotional. I am Diosa. I am Diosa. I am goddess. This book, I just finished it and it feels like, spirit guided the process so that I finish on the first day of my moon cycle of 2021. And this book is love. Thank you, Christine, for writing it. Good morning. 444. It is, I think, the 15th of January, so they say. Whatever. And it's windy, so my eye's gonna be leaking, just so you know. And I'm taking a walk. It is either the last day or tomorrow's the last day of my period. Like, it oscillates between like 5 to 6 days. And so I've been resting most of this time, yet what I'm doing today is just going back to the tree. Maybe not that far, that was a little much for my bleeding body, but going back to just hug a tree, sit in a tree and read. I brought one of my favorite books, Women Who Run with Wolves. And it's so funny because I was reading that book around 3 years ago when I decided to make this major shift in my life, and I left school. If you don't know, I'm an Ivy League dropout. And I just started traveling. Like, I didn't have money at the time. I didn't have a fucking clue, but I just followed my soul, and I knew that while school didn't feel like it resonated for me, that education always did. So I decided to educate myself through all the things that I was interested in, through all the teachers I wanted to meet. So yeah, that's basically what I feel called to share. And I'm just walking across a bridge right now. This is the time when our left and right brains are most connected. So our intuition is at an all-time high, and so is our logic, which I don't know about you, but that feels like a superpower. That, the inner knowing and also the part of us that's really analytical and strategic and calculates is like they're just working together in like a sacred union, And this is also why, big emotions may come up during our period. That's why, we might feel inclined to spend time alone, because not only are we shedding, but we are able to see what's happening within us, in the world around us, with so much clarity. And I think that's really beautiful. You know, the connection to spirit, the connection to the external world is super high, and we're sensitive during that time. That's the video. That felt really, really vulnerable to share with you all. Yeah, like I said, I just felt called to do it for so many reasons, mainly because I wanted to, you know, let you know that you're not alone and that your period is something so beautiful, as is your entire cycle. So, like I said, I'm going to be having a free live masterclass later in the week, all about how you can live in alignment with your entire menstrual cycle. So not only your period, but every single cycle there, and how you can really structure your month around your cycle so that you can, you know, be supported by your body, you know, instead of, let's say, trying to push forward with a new project on your period when your energy physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally is to release things. You know, so just understanding that, you know, your body is your guide, and your body has so much wisdom that it wants to share with you, that it is sharing with you. Honestly, it's just up to you to listen. If you feel called to answer this invitation with me and so many other beautiful sisters and siblings that are going to be joining us, and the link is in the description box below. Thank you so much for receiving this transmission from my heart, from my womb. I hope you have a very beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video.